Societies worldwide demand modern and efficient infrastructure systems. These systems require safe and reliable access. Since our founding in 1883, EJ has evolved into the leader in providing access solutions to meet the demands of the world's growing infrastructure. From a variety of international locations, our manufacturing, sales, and distribution centers continue to lead and expand into new markets. Wherever you are, whatever your specific needs, we have the answer for your water, wastewater, transport, energy, and telecommunication projects.
The two brothers that started Miller Brothers Construction are my grandfather Dale and his brother Floyd in 1945. Grandpa and Floyd were part of a family of 9 kids, I think 5 boys and 4 girls, and at some point all of the boys and even the brother-in-laws worked for Miller Brothers Construction in some capacity, either in the field or in the office. My father Dean and his cousin Bob, who is Floyd's son, took over in the 80s and 90s. Bob ran the Kentucky operation, Dad ran the Ohio operation. Building has always been something that's fun to me. You get done and you can take a look at an interchange or a bridge or a road and say, you know, I had part in making that work. Miller Brothers is successful because of our people. Dad had kind of taught me that integrity, trust, and teamwork are 3 very important aspects to how he wanted to do business and how I would like to do business, and we believed in it enough that we made it part of our core values, and it's kind of a roadmap of how we do business. We've grown a lot in the last 5 or 10 years. We've opened an office in Central Ohio so that everybody puts their head on their own pillow at night. Having everybody home for their family is important to us. We're a family-owned company. We stress the importance of everybody's personal family as well as their work family.
You have men and women out in the field, and they come to work like it was their own family business, and that loyalty, I think, goes a long way. People are just the most important asset we have, and we don't just use that as a cliche. They really are. Our people make the difference.
So we have some 2nd and 3rd generation employees that are not blood related, but they're part of the Miller Brothers family. It's an honor to know that these families take so much pride in what they do that they would share it with their family.
Hello, I'm Melanie Kitchen, Director of Chapter Development at Ohio Contractors Association. Thank you for joining us for our program, Workforce Awareness, Connecting with Building Trade Students. Connecting students to the industry is an important priority for contractors as we continue to see a growing need for future workforce. Today, we're going to hear a case study about how one local school is preparing their students for the construction industry, and how that school is also educating employers on how to best build relationships with today's generation. We welcome Colby Clippinger, Building Trades Instructor at Knox County Career Center. Colby has a carpentry background and has been an instructor at Knox County for 13 years. He's also a graduate of the Career Center. Joining Colby is Jean Fitzpatrick. class president and senior in the program. Jean is currently on job placement at PM Medical, installing medical equipment in hospitals and medical facilities. Welcome to both of you, Colby and Jean. I'm going to turn the program over to you.
Thanks, Melanie. Thanks for having us on the program, giving us an opportunity to reach out to contractors and help bridge that gap a little bit so we can get these young tradespeople into the trades. As Melanie said, I'm joined here by Gene Fitzpatrick, and we'll give him an opportunity to talk about how maybe the employers can help support these young tradespeople moving into the trades. As Melanie said, I'm a product of career tech. I felt like I've always understood career tech since I was a product of it. Spent 30 years in the trades overall, and the last 13 here at the Career Center. It's given me a unique perspective, and what I want to do today is share some of that perspective with the trades, so that as we bridge that gap, the skills gap itself, and bringing these young people in, and I want to help bridge that gap so that it can be the most successful transition to get these young people interested in the trades, to fill these spots for these employers and make it a success. Gene, I'm going to turn the floor over to you just for a moment to introduce yourself. And, first of all, if you could just tell everyone, why did you even come to the Career Center? What made you interested in the trade? And even why did you pick building trades itself?
Well, I'm Gene Fitzpatrick. I'm a senior at the Career Center, and this is my third year at the school. And what really got me into the Career Center is I wanted a different path for me. I started to see that college wasn't quite for me. That's not something I wanted to invest myself in. When I heard about the Career Center, when they came into our school, I realized that's a path that I wanted. Then I talked to friends and other people who have gone there, and I started to see what an amazing opportunity this was for me. And it wasn't even a question. This is an opportunity that I couldn't let down, and I wanted to further my education in this.
So we try to do a lot of different things here at the Knox County Career Center. Many things have changed. When I first came through career tech myself, the phone would ring, the instructor would answer the phone, a contractor would say, I need one guy, I need two guys, I need three guys. And he would literally stand out on the floor and say, hey, I got a contractor that needs a couple of people. And there would be 4 or 5 students jump up at the opportunity for that. A lot has changed in the last 30 years, and students are no longer comfortable. They're a lot more guarded. And one of the key things to recruiting for employers is creating a bridge where the students feel comfortable going to those employers. If you call now and you say, I want one or two students to come and work, you'll probably get none. What it takes is an investment from these employers to come in. Some of the things that we do in our lab, obviously this year is a different year, but typically what we've done is we try to invite employers in. One of the opportunities we have is the Dog Days of Summer. And the Dog Days of Summer is we cook hot dogs. The employers can come in, grab lunch, and just sit down and talk with these young people to help them first realize that that the students realize that these are just people also, and it's not an imposing or intimidating figure, and it allows those students to meet them on their terms, on their turf, and they feel a lot more comfortable. So, Gene, I'm going to turn it over to you for a moment. You've had an opportunity. We did have Dog Days last year. Unfortunately, we didn't have them this year. How do you think, how did that impact you, and how did it start making you a lot more comfortable, with the contractors, or did it make a difference at all?
Well, at first going into the trade, everyone's very intimidated by it. But once you get one-on-one with a employer or someone who works in the trade, or high up leaders in our community, like the mayor was there, it starts to really humanize the process for you. And it doesn't become as intimidating as you would think. and it's really the personal connection, and it feels like you're investing in a kid. And I feel like that's what really opened up the doors, made me feel comfortable, started talking to a lot of people and a lot of trades I probably wouldn't have ever thought of joining.
So as you can see, and it takes some investment from the instructor to be creative. It takes some investment from the employers. I can tell you that the very first year I had it, I probably had 6 to 8 employers come in, and the last year I had it, I had 22 come in. Not only do I invite employers, I invite um, people of stature, voted in elected officials. The mayor was part of it. I've had city council members, the Parks and Recreation District. So it's employers, it's suppliers, so that students, once again, as Gene said, he feels a lot more comfortable and humanizes. So it's just people talking to people, and that's one of the first steps in the process. And really, what it is, it's not just a process, not an introduction process or just an introduction process. It's a mentoring process. I have spoke on several different occasions to several different outlets from Ohio Contractors Association, and different leadership opportunity knocks or leadership knocks, where you know these these employers struggle with how do they retain someone, and how do they get these young people interested. And um, one of the things that was posted here when I got here, and it just made an impact on me, is students don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And that goes a long way to starting to bridge that relationship, and getting these young people involved with the trades. Is the employers feel like they're making an investment in the student, and they are, but they also have to realize that the students are making one of the largest investments of their life when they leave out of here and they move into the trade. And that large investment isn't financial, it's of themselves. And that's what they have to give. And when they get nothing in return, or they get a cold shoulder, or they feel like they're just a number, I have seen with these employers that the rate of attrition significantly increases. But the most successful employers are the ones that they may have a formal mentorship program, but a lot of them put the right people in the right place to take some of these tradespeople under their wing and teach them and guide them. So, Gene, I guess I'll ask you the question. How do you feel, with PM Medical? You've been there a little while now. Um, you know, is is the employer doing that with you? Do you feel like that makes a difference to you, or what would you do differently with the employer you have? That what would change your perspective of an employer, or what would make you stay? Um, that you could, if you could reach out and say anything to employers to say this would make me stay, what would that be? The inside scoop, from a student, straight from them.
You know, it's a good question. I guess it's just kind of looking at the kid and realize, it's a kid, and there's a lot of pressure on them, and just giving them a amount of responsibility, something to hold up to, something to work for, so it feels like they're growing in that position, and that really helps them out. Again, it's just humanizing the process, making that kid know that he's doing a good job, or give him help on issues that he might need help for. And I feel like that's one of the best things to do is just work with the kid and invest with him, and make him feel like he belongs there. That's a big thing.
So one thing, I did a survey with my students, and I asked them what was the single biggest thing that would make them stay. And in the very first year, and it wasn't pay, and it wasn't benefits. It wasn't a 401k, it wasn't retirement. It was simply being recognized for doing a good job. And so many times, as they move out into the trades, they're they never see the person again that hired them. And that's the first person they feel connected to. So, and that's fine because I realize that some of the companies are large companies, but when their supervisor doesn't know their name and doesn't recognize them or acknowledge them in any way, that's one of the single biggest complaints that my students have is I don't even think they knew I was there. And so a little bit of acknowledgement, and ironically, isn't that the same thing we all want, even as adults? We want to be acknowledged for what we do and who we are. And that's what these young people moving into the trades want. They're not asking for a lot. So that was one of the single biggest things. Ironically, though, in that little survey I did, I said beyond a year, what is one of the single biggest things that would make you stay? So once they were satisfied that they were mentored, acknowledged, and felt like they were part of the team, is is the benefits and the pension. That was the next biggest thing. Um, Pay didn't come into a factor until even after the mentoring piece was in place, that then they felt safe and secure and they felt needed and that their skills were satisfying the employer's needs, and then the benefits and the healthcare was taken care of. And then last was, okay, finish acknowledging me by giving me that pay raise if I'm doing a good job. That is the next step. One of the things that, whether you agree with it or not, students have always had an opportunity when they're in a school system to reach out to their teachers, which are fantastic mentors, and their counselors, and they're fantastic mentors. So they've always had that safety net to fall back on. And so just to go cold turkey and move out into the field, it's a difficult transition for these young people. So, and even on top of that, after the mentoring piece in that first year, then the students are able to spread their wings, fly a little bit, and they depend less and less on it. So the mentoring piece, I've had employers say that, we do a 4-year mentoring program. That may be a little bit overdone because they don't want to be coddled either. So, it's getting that right person in the right place to be that person that can lead those young people in the trades to success. So, my biggest advice is try to figure out who those people are. And and I don't know what the magic is. I mean, I've seen some pretty rough and tumble looking guys that you would never think would be mentors, be the single best mentors, and the kids are just drawn to them. Harley riding, tattoos on their arms, long hair, braids, whatever. Um, and I have seen those some of the most successful when you would look at them and think they'd be very intimidated by them. And I've had some employers that have created a very formal program with check boxes, and they sat them down every week and they made them fill out this form. And that employer experienced 100% rate of attrition because the students felt like they were checking boxes and then walking out the door, and then no one cared. They didn't get to talk to a person, that they simply were checking boxes for a person. And they didn't even know if that was a real person. It was just, did they throw it away? What did they do with it? And they never heard any feedback from it. So, make it real for these tradespeople moving out. Acknowledge who they are. Um, Pay is always important, but really it's, am I wanted? Am I even needed around here? Just acknowledge who they are. Um, Buy lunch for them and sit down and just talk to them. And it's ironic how much of an impact that can make, on these young people. So that's a big part of it. The other part is, how do you even fill a program? I have been very fortunate. How do you fill a program to even get them to you? I've been very fortunate. I've been very supported by our administration and our school and our school board in itself, and that they made a huge investment in my program. When I started there, Melanie said I in the introduction that I was a carpenter, and I will always say I'm a carpenter by trade. But one of the things that I felt in the program was although I'm a carpenter and they typically called these programs carpentry programs, that um, there isn't a lot of jobs for building Adirondack chairs and birdhouses. So how do you develop a program? And, I was very blessed in the very beginning and they said, make it yours. We called it building trades. I added heavy equipment to the program. I added, I have two skid loaders, one with hand controls, one with foot controls. I have a wheel loader that has joystick controls, which is very similar to material handlers or the John Deere 440 loaders. We have a rubber tire backhoe. We have a hydraulic excavator. Um, and not all the students come to the program for that, but what they learn is a with itness and being around that equipment. So we learn grade and elevations and we pour concrete, we do forms, and a lot of our projects are off campus. So, one of the things that I want Gene to share with you guys is, how does that impact a student when they're able to, Gene, how does that impact you and your learning and your ability when you're able to move into the field and basically produce, not only do we do the lesson, but what we produce is going to be there for the next 30 years. How does that change how you view the end product of what you're doing and the goals you're trying to achieve? Do you feel like that changes how you view the program or how attentive you are to detail, or how does that impact you when you know that 30 years from now you're going to drive by and you're going to see that sidewalk, or you're going to see whatever product we put out? How does that change how you view what we do here in the lab?
Well, it really makes you want to take pride in your work, and you feel like you're really a part of a team when you get to work with everyone, and you get to make a product that's going to be there. And so you never want to let your team down. It's something that you invest yourself in, whether you realize it or not. And everyone's always encouraging others to do better because it makes the team better. You never want to be the weakest link, and with this program that invests in you and all these different things that we get to learn, I feel like, you know, that's never going to be you, because you always want to strive to be better and be the best tradesman that you can be. And with the diversity of things that we learn, with construction or whatever you're doing, it's not always going to be the same thing, because there's always going to be something new or something different that you have to work with or put up with. So when we learn a spectrum of things to do with the trades or how many trades there are, it really helps things out and makes things work a lot better.
So we need to ultimately fill the program. One of the things we do to get, we have to have buy-in from mom and dad. And one of the things I also do in my program is breakfast with building trades. And it's done as a junior. We typically do it November. Obviously, this year we missed it. Um, but career tech for a long time has had a stigma about it, of many times being the last best stop. So breakfast with building trades is the juniors have an opportunity. By November, we've done a few projects. They've learned some skills. They've worked with the heavy equipment, and so obviously, students talk to students and parents talk to other parents. So, the target is, let's fill the program so we can fill the gap. Um, so breakfast with building trades is students are allowed to bring their parents in. We do equipment challenges where students can challenge against their parents. So they can say, you know what, I can do this and my mom or my dad can't. And it really boosts their confidence, and it gives an opportunity for parents to see that this is not the last best stop for their student. It's the beginning of something. And so that stigma has really changed over the years. And one of the things that I think has helped it with the Knox County Career Center is inviting those parents in and having them in for that breakfast. Obviously, there's something very powerful about breaking bread with someone that lets your guard down, and people really open up. And I think that kicks things off. So, Gene, coming in the very beginning and then be able to share that opportunity, How do you feel that that impacted you when you were able to bring your parents in and challenge them or say, look, mom and dad, I did this? Because grandparents come, brothers and sisters come, they all come. So, how did that change, or did it change any perspective of yours or even your parents, when we did that last year?
Well, it's really one of those things where, you work really hard, and then now it's time to take a step back and reflect on how much you've really grown. And I don't think a lot of guys in the trade realize how much I've grown, because I remember my first time on a mini excavator or a skid loader, on how scratchy I was. And then looking how I am now, and when I see my dad up there trying to do it, I really get to reflect on how much I've grown and how much I've learned and the skills that I have acquired doing this. And then I get to show off all my work that I have done, what I have accomplished. And I get to point out every little thing that I did on that project, and it really puts things in perspective on how much I've really learned and invested in myself.
So it takes an investment from the instructor. It takes an investment, from employers. One of the other things that we do to help bring things back together is their senior year. Um, there's certifications that they earn here at the Career Center are valuable, and I want students to be recognized for that. So, there's always my door is always open to guest speakers. Once again, coming in and knowing the students. We've got to fill the program. We got to get parents involved. We got to get employers involved, and we have to reach them on many different levels. And as you look at all these, you can see they're really all tie into that mentoring piece. But one of the last things we do, and hope that we get to do it this year, um, if we can bring things around by spring, is students earn their first aid CPR, their OSHA 10, their MEWP for elevated work platforms, Class 7 all-terrain forklift, and they earn all that through our program. And so, you know, we do a senior certification day where it's basically a rite of passage for the students to pass across, hand them their actual certifications, and we invite employers and parents bringing all those pieces together, as their senior year. It's just a really important piece that kind of ties it all together, gives employers one more opportunity. They may have had several opportunities to stop in the school, um, teach class. I've had employers come in, teach classes. Some of them donated material, and they're always maintaining that contact with the students, even if it's just dropping by, and dropping off a box of pencils that have their business name on it. Those are all things to bridge that gap, and get employers in. And obviously, things have been different this year. We haven't been able to do those. I did have a couple employers come in, and they had hands-on activities outside. Um, so, you know, one of the things that I'm going to turn over to Gene, and I guess the question I'll ask him is, he had an opportunity. Obviously, he was here before things were shut down, and we were a little more isolated as a lab. But how much of an impact, Gene, do you think it has made on you to not only learn the skill, but as the employers come in, you know, what how does that change your thoughts or your views towards an employer when they teach a class or they donate or they stop by just to even talk to you guys, and tell you the opportunities that their companies have? How does that change your perspective of that employer, or how does it make you feel more comfortable, maybe even applying to that, whether they stop by or you've never heard from them before, you know, um, in your career? So, um, how does that change your viewpoint?
Well, it just really puts in an amount of perspective on all the trades that we have come in, is how many doors are really open that I can go to. And it shows that, that's a job I can future in the future I could have, or that I can be a part of. And it really shows that they care, and they're looking. When you're going to the trades nowadays, it's if you want a job, it's not that hard to find, and it shows that they want you. And it really shows that all this work that you've put into this school, it's, it puts you up ahead of people, and now people are coming for you. And it really puts pride, a lot of pride that what I've done, but also a lot of things to look forward to, that I get to work for these companies that want to buy into me. And that's something I really look forward to in the future.
So one of the things, one of the additional things I've implemented, I started last year, is this BT Elite program. And actually today, I did tell Gene that he actually had just hit the benchmark for that. It obviously got sidelined a little bit this past year. We weren't able to come to accrue points, but basically what it is the BT Elite is an employer supported program that that students earn points, and they earn points for attendance, they earn points for grades, they earn points for certifications, they earn points for extracurricular activities. They get points deducted if there's discipline issues or attendance issues. When students miss school or they don't earn their certifications, they don't earn enough points. Gene's a stellar student, and he is now halfway through his senior year almost, and he just earned enough points in order to qualify for this BT Elite program. BT Elite was designed by employers, supported by employers. There is no school money in this, and what the students get is when they earn their 250 points through the program, through all the check boxes that I just stated, is they get an interview shirt, which is either a button-up shirt or a polo shirt that's embroidered with Knox County Career Center logo, has BT Elite on it, and has their name embroidered on it. And then they also get a hoodie, which has a slogan, just about, it's kind of a building trades crest about being elite, and being one of a few that's basically willing to go out and get their hands dirty. And and down at the bottom of that is all the employers and the groups that have sponsored that program. um, so when the students, I have 20 juniors and 20 seniors, and in the last year and a half since we started it, I just had 6 seniors qualify for it. Not every student will achieve it. Every student can achieve it, but not every student will. And so, being the first year that it's implemented, being sponsored by the employers, I guess what I'm going to ask Gene is, um, do you feel that made a difference to you, knowing that these employers were out there and created a program to support you and are willing to reward you? How does that make you feel about the employers that are sponsoring the program and basically funding it, for you to achieve these goals? Do you feel like the program made any difference to you?
I think the program made a huge difference. I remember when we first heard about it, and everyone was talking about how they want to do better, how they want to start showing up more because they wanted to be a part of that, something bigger. And I'm never been so happy just to hear that I finally, got it. It's one of those things at a trade school where what you put into it is what you got out. So showing up every day, working hard, getting good grades, and really just buying into it and just see what I get out of it. It's always happy and something to add to the resume. And then I look at these employers who want to give us this opportunity and buy into us, and shows that they really care and they want us to succeed. I mean, that's a game changer. That's someone I want to work for, that I know to begin with, they already want us to succeed. They want to see what students stand out, who are going to show up, who are going to make good choices, when no one's looking. And it's an amazing thing to be a part of. And I'm amazed I get this opportunity.
So Ohio Contractors Association is actually a supporter of that program, and we do appreciate that. Um, I know that I have I probably have 4 or 5 more students that will probably hit the benchmark next quarter, um, and probably 50 to 60% will hit that benchmark, as seniors. And so it gives something for the juniors to strive for, to be part of something as Gene said, bigger than himself, and to be recognized that, hey, I did something. So, as I kind of wrap this up, and I'm going to turn this over to see if Melanie has any other questions, you can see all of these things tie back to it's going to take some effort for employers. Um, it's going to take some effort. It's going to take some time. It can be investment of time. It can be investment of materials. It can be a financial investment. It can be all of those. But still going back to what I read when I came here, the students don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And if you're not willing to invest, it is gonna you're in these young people and these young tradespeople as they go out, it's going to be a struggle for you to retain them. And they really don't want any more than probably any person that works for you wants. Um, they want to be recognized and acknowledged for what they do or what they have done for you. Um, and I think that's just really the key. Um, I do have a bigger presentation, and it has many aspects to it to enlighten contractors, and I'm willing to share it, and I have shared it in the past. Um, the name of the program is Train One for the Trades, and basically it's trying to get contractors to commit to save a spot for one of these young tradespeople. How much different would that skills gap look if you were willing to bring someone on and you're going to train them and they're probably going to leave? And then you say, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to train another one and I'm going to train another one. And you always keep, how much different would that skills gap be if each employer was willing to invest and do that and commit that I'm going to train one and I'm going to continually train one for the trades. So, mentoring is the biggest key to that, saving that spot. It's not cheap, it's not easy, but to me, I feel it's the path forward, and I feel that career tech, investing in career tech, is probably the easiest way to fill that gap, bring these young people in, fill my program, so I can fill your businesses with these young people. Gene, do you have anything else you would like to add before I'll turn this back over to Melanie?
Uh, Really, it's an opportunity, and whatever doors we can open to help, fill these gaps in these companies that need help. The kids are wanting to learn and they're wanting to be a part of something, and it's just sometimes it's who's going to take that first step, and that really makes a difference.
Thanks, Gene. Melanie, I'm going to turn it back to you. If you have any questions in closing that you have for Gene or myself, um, we really do appreciate the opportunity to have a little bit of time to speak, even though unfortunately it's by Zoom. I'd love to do it in person. But we appreciate the opportunity to get the word out there about our schools, our program, and we really do feel that career tech is the best way to fill that gap moving forward.
Thank you. Thank you both. We really appreciate the information and the perspectives that you have. I think that, again, we're just trying to bridge the gap and connect the contractors with the students. And this is just one more way that we can do it. I guess the question that comes to my mind first for both of you or either one of you is, and you do have a lot of contacts already in the industry, and we have worked together in the past. But if our members who are watching this are saying, okay, what can I do? How can I get more involved? What can I do? Is there one thing or a couple of things that you need from the contractor community? If we said to you, how else can we help you? What do you need the most from us to help connect students to the industry? What would you say?
Well, I guess what I would say first is contact your local career center and figure out how you can be part of it. One of the things, every career center has to have an advisory board, and be part of that advisory board. And what that advisory board does is it drives what the program does. My advisory board has challenged me and taken me out of my comfort zone many times. And many times when I'm out of that, I just tell them, um, I have plumbing contractors, electrical, HVAC, heavy highway, um, landscaping, safety. I have all of those on my board. Carpentry, all the trade unions, most all the trade unions are representative through the heavy equipment to the laborers or the carpenters. And I let them help drive my program. I tell them what I'm doing. They tell me what they need. Now, the programs are actually, I don't want to speak for every career center, but as a whole, we're fairly well funded. I mean, as far as circular saws or basic hand tools, where we really need the support is um, if you use a specific piece of equipment or style of equipment or unique materials. um, you know, I can't afford to buy bridge deck. That's specific to a one trade. I can either teach it or have someone come in and teach it, but I don't have the product for that. Or if it's wall forms, I don't have the funds to buy wall forms to do a 2 week lesson on it. I could do a 2 week lesson, but I don't have them. So a lot of things that are very specific to a trade, those are the things that most of the programs need. And, even if it's unusable to you, doesn't mean it's unusable to us. Maybe it's bent up enough where it doesn't put out the finished product you want. But if I can have an employer donate those to us or let us use them for a few weeks, that would be great. Or come in and teach the lesson and bring them with you. That's what we need. That's really what we need. But as far as specific individual things, most of the students are covered. Like I say, we've been blessed and very well supported. But reach out to each one of them, be part of the advisory board. Come in and just give a 20 or 30-minute spiel about your program. Introduce, break that ice. And sometimes you not only have to break the ice with the students, sometimes you got to break that ice with the instructor. And because this is the first time you haven't maybe ever been into that school, and help drive that program and support that program, because I don't know everything and I don't know all the materials. And so, why don't you be the expert for the day or a couple of days? So I've had employers teach the OSHA classes. I've had employers create prints for us and then donate the forms to us. Um, so look at us as an outlet, to be part of it and make it part of your connection. And then the students will come to you. And as all you need is one. You get one good student. And I guarantee the others will come and you'll have a steady flow into your business. Do you have anything, Gene, to add to that?
I mean, it's really just buy into the kids. I mean, invite them out. I remember last year before the whole COVID, every month Mr. Coppinger would have us go out to a company and check out what their setup is, how they do it. And the ones that really stick out the most is that let us do some of the stuff. We went to a concrete company, and they had us screeding concrete, getting in there and getting hands on. And it really shows that they cared and they wanted us there, and just buying into the kids through that.
That's actually, an excellent point. One of the challenges, I said I love my experience here at the Career Center. But one of the things that I felt was a disservice is I didn't know what to do with the skills once I had them. So one of my challenges as an instructor is that the skills are great and we're going to learn the skills, but I need to know what to do with them and they need to know what to do with them when they leave here. So we took at least one day a month and we visited a job site, a gravel pit, a lumber yard, anyone that would have us out um, that could show the students and demonstrate, how they feed the trade or how they're part of the trade. And so just calling us up and going, hey, we're doing a cool bridge project. Can you guys come out in the next couple of days? I'm always willing to jump on the bus, because I'm like these students. The only thing I want out of school sometimes is out of school. So we love getting on a school bus, and heading out and just having the contractors just share their knowledge with us. And, I've had city engineers do it. I've had contractors do it. So, don't think that you just have to come in. We can come out too.
All right, thank you. Thank you both. I think that, we have a really good connection with Knox County Career Center, and we appreciate the perspectives, again, that you both have given to us today. Um, I guess I want to let anyone who's viewing this know that if you would like to be in touch with Knox County Career Center or Colby for any reason, let me know and I can put you in touch if you have more questions about their program. And to wrap up, I want to thank you guys again. This has been very informative for us and for our membership, I'm sure. So we appreciate it and we look forward to talking to you next time.
I would definitely, I guess before we close, uh, Reichland Construction, Ben Reichland has been a fantastic connection. He's reached out to me several times. We're just starting to build a relationship. I look forward to that. I look forward to the heavy highway industry being a bigger part of our program. Um, and Kokosing Construction, which is another OCA member, huge supporter of our program, hires a lot of students, and then gives me a great sense of pride to go down the highway and see former students wave to me, as they're grinding asphalt or they're standing on the pavers or running the rollers. And those those opportunities pay huge dividends. That is our next generation of workers. And I don't know if you realize how much that impacts. And so our school, having OCA part of it, having those contractors part of it. We look forward to those opportunities. I am willing to answer any questions you have, even if you are not even close to Knox County Career Center, where you can hire out of here. I'll help you get in contact with anyone I can. There's 48 different career centers in the state of Ohio. So, I'll help you get connected, and hopefully I even already have a connection with them and help bridge that gap for you. But always feel free to reach out to me. You can contact you, Melanie. And once again, we just appreciate the opportunity today and the support OCA has continually given our school and our programs and the opportunities provided for our students.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think with that, we will end our program.